The city of Denver was forced to put these new realities to the test. In 1982, the Water Board filed application to build Two Forks Dam to enable the city to store additional water diverted from the Colorado River. In the midst of a growth boom, Denver saw Two Forks as a way to secure the region's future. What city officials didn't anticipate was an overwhelming protest from environmental groups, fishermen, biologists, and ordinary citizens.
It really was the last dance of the dinosaurs. It was developed in an era when we thought about water only as its value in being taken from the stream to supply cities and to supply agriculture. We're now in the mode where we think about water in its natural course as valuable in its own right.
Two Forks Dam was to be located 25 miles from Denver on the South Platte River. It would flood a 28-mile stretch of land, including Cheeseman Canyon and a prime trout fishery.
You can't understand what a dam does and what a reservoir is unless you've been there before the construction. And if you go out to Two Forks, what you find is the narrowing of a great canyon, a very efficient place to put in a 60-story high cement plug. But it is a place you don't want to lose. And people went there, and they spoke out in different ways and said, we don't want to lose that place.
There was more than Cheeseman Canyon at stake. The Platte River flows north into Nebraska. Biologists worried that Two Forks Dam would pirate the Platte River's flow, strangling wetland habitat for migratory birds.
All around us right now, we're hearing the sound of the sandhill cranes that visit the Platte every spring as part of the greatest migration of cranes that occurs on the face of the earth. They gather on this river in numbers that are truly astounding. 500,000 sandhill cranes gather here each spring. And here in central Nebraska, they have the perfect combination of flowing water, a shallow river, fields of food for them to eat. And in this gathering, we have one of the greatest spectacles in North America. And people come here from all over the country and all around the world to see this event because it's unmatched anywhere else. The dams have impact not just upstream in the area that gets flooded by a reservoir, but downstream throughout the entire system, where the blockage of flow alters the way the river flows downstream and can alter the habitat significantly.
The Platte River used to be over a mile wide. Today, diversions for irrigation have reduced its flow by 70%, squeezing migratory birds into smaller and smaller areas of habitat.
Towns and communities along the Platte have finally come to the realization that the kinds of flows they need to sustain drinking water supplies and to just generally provide for a healthy human environment are very similar to the kinds of flows that we've been saying are needed to sustain an ecosystem. So in a very real sense, what happens to the cranes is an indication of what's happening to us and the human community here on the Platte.
Still, the question remained, how to provide for Denver's growth. As the debate over Two Forks raged on, Denver spent $45 million on land and environmental impact studies and nearly received a permit to build the dam. But at the 11th hour, the project was vetoed by the Environmental Protection Agency.
All in all, we were able to demonstrate that you could supply 20% more water than Two Forks for half the cost of Two Forks and for 1/10 or 1/20th the environmental damage. whenever cities have expensive capital projects to look at, you can almost always demonstrate conservation makes more sense than building a new project.
We want water for our cities, and hydropower is important, but so are wild rivers. And we feel that as a people, and we feel what a river really can be, a place of magic and mystery and beauty. And we've made up our mind now that we are going to keep some rivers wild, both for what they can give to us as a people and also to the animals and the plants that depend upon them, and also, I think, out of some ultimate respect for the river itself.
Denver now had to look within to figure out how to meet its water needs without a new source of water. And what Denver found is that a gallon of water saved through conservation and efficiency is just as good as a gallon supplied from a new dam like Two Forks. In fact, it's better because it doesn't involve destroying a beautiful place like Cheeseman Canyon.
Denver has since been encouraging conservation citywide. It turned out that just installing water meters made homeowners more conscious of how much they use. The Water Board raised water rates and now gives cash payments to businesses that adopt efficiency measures.
We are beginning a pilot program that will pay a business 3 times what they would pay us for the water if they save that water permanently. Now, it's a one-time payment of up to $20,000, but if that business installs water-saving hardware that will save us a good deal of water in the long run, we will pay them for it.
City Ice was one of the first local companies to undergo a water audit.
The biggest item was to try to do something with processed water that was coming off our ice-making operation. We were able to end up with about a 1.5 million gallon reduction in our water usage on an annual basis.
Water from the ice-making process was reclaimed for use as a cooling agent in refrigeration. Many businesses could cut their water use in half by reclaiming water for rinse cycles and cooling systems. One of the best ways homeowners can conserve is to try a landscaping idea pioneered in Denver. It's called xeriscape, and it involves selecting plants, trees, and ground cover native to the region or that require only small amounts of water, like buffalo grass. Overwatering a lawn is the single biggest household waste of water.
We've got to move toward pricing water at somewhere near its value. We currently give it away. In fact, sometimes we pay people to take it. Well, it's ludicrous that the most fundamental resource that we have, the one that is fundamental to life, is a resource in which we're giving it away.